What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is my latest Infinite Archive build, which is for solo but also for duo, as it has excellent support as well. It's got super high health, so you're really tanky. So let's get straight into it. We'll get straight into the sets. So the first set we are running is the Serpent's Disdain, which will give you a line of stamina, health and magicka, and it will increase the duration of your status effects you apply by 16 seconds. So it's very powerful. All the sets are crafted apart from the mythic ring and one piece monster. So we've got running an ice staff in precise with a weapon damage enchantment. The head is a Nunataks Visage, so any monster set that gives you a line of armor basically. In heavy with max magicka, all the armor is reinforced and heavy. The next set we're running is Clever Alchemist, which gives you 2 lines of health, a line of weapon and spell damage. And when you drink a potion, you're going to feel a rush of energy. It's going to give you a ton of weapon and spell damage, nearly 700 for 20 seconds. So that's max magicka. The shoulders are Clever Alchemist. Girdle is Clever Alchemist, hands Clever Alchemist, legs Clever Alchemist, and the feet are Serpent's Disdain. So it's all reinforced, as I said, all heavy, and we've just got we've got 2 max magicka and the rest is all max health. The necklace is Serpent's Disdain, all healthy traits, all weapon damage. The ring is Serpents, and of course we've got the Oaken Soul ring just to bring it all together. It's a nice simple 1-bar build, fully crafted as well. So we'll get into all the stats and stuff. So it's got 64 points into health, running the Smoked Bear Haunch for the recoveries. Going to be a Vampire Stage 3 for the Undeath passive. It has been nerfed now, but it's still worth having on just for the 15% damage reduction. Running the Lava Mundus. So as you can see, you've got 46,500 health. So the magicka and stamina are fairly low, but you're constantly heavy attacking, so I'll show you how to do that. It's nice and easy. The magicka and stamina recovery do go up a little bit when you pop a potion, but again you are heavy attacking quite a lot, so recoveries are not really much of an issue. So we've got 30% spell critical, which is quite nice, so you do crit quite often. The weapon and spell damage will go up to nearly 6,000, and the penetration is about 10k, maybe a little bit more if it's got the minor breach on it. I'm not actually sure. It's got the major breach. And the spell resistances, when we buff up, we're at that nice 33,000, which is roughly where the cap is for PVE. Critical resistance you don't need, as that's only against human opponents. So the critical damage is at 20%, which is not too bad. So we're going to get into the skills. There's a nice simple 1-bar. So elemental susceptibility. This is a spammable, believe it or not, in the higher stages of the arc. It's going to apply major breach. It's going to, every 5 seconds, it's going to afflict the enemy with burning shield and concussion status effects. The Serpent's Disdain is going to extend this, so they're going to go on for much longer. The Radiant Wall is your massive shield. It scales off max health, hence why we've got such a large amount of health. It's also going to do magic damage to enemies as well. Puncturing Sweep is our spammable as well. It's also going to heal you and deal magic damage and reduce their movement speed. This is the flex spot, which I'll get into in a second. Living Dark, which is going to reduce the enemy's movement speed again and heal you. It's really powerful. It's going to protect you. And Remembrance, probably one of the best ultimates in the game for PvP and PvE, in my opinion, on Templar. It's going to give you a ton of healing. It's also going to give you that major protection for 10 seconds. It's very strong. It's like your panic button basically. So the flex spot. So what I was actually running, if you don't have access to scribing, because that's why I don't like to do too much scribing skills, because a lot of people might not have access, but generally I would run Resolving Vigour for a heal over time and your minor resolve. But in this case, if you do want a flex spot, we've got the Healing Torch, which will conjure an imbued torch and sweep the air in front of you 3 times with its power. It's going to heal you and your allies in each sweep. It's going to reduce your damage taken by 30%. It's only for 2 seconds, but it's still 30%, very, very strong. It's also going to give the minor resolve, so it's very similar to Vigour, but maybe a little bit more useful. But like I said, if you can't run the Healing Torch, then obviously put on Vigour. Make sure you have all your passives in your 3 class lines, all your passives in Destruction Staff, all your passives in Heavy, Vampire, and the Fighters Guild, as we're using the Healing Torch. All your passives in Undaunted, Assault and Support line, and also your racial, which is, I'm using Orc, as I'll get into that as well. And also your medicinal use. The reason I'm using Orc is because it gives you a line of stamina, but it's more for the extra health, just to boost health a little bit more, and you do recover health when you deal damage, but you're also getting the weapon and spell damage. So it's a nice combination of extra health, so it's a bit like Nord, where you're getting the extra health, but you're also getting the bonus weapon damage, because with this setup it's very tanky, so you want to make sure you're still getting that weapon damage. Right, so how the build actually all works and puts all together. So like I said, with the Serpent's Disdain, as you can see, the status effects above the dummy there, they're going on for a lot longer than usual. So they're going to be ticking over nicely, nice and strong. And then your Healing Torch is here. Your Living Dark, your shield. And then you're going to be heavy attacking with the Ice Staff to give you another shield. So you're basically going to be having a ton of shields, a ton of healing, and you just want to be heavy attacking between each skill basically. So in the beginning stages, you're not going to be doing absolute tons of damage, and I'll just showcase you the damage quickly. I'm just going to plot the weapon enchantment. And then pop a potion. As you can see, the weapon damage is nearly at 6,000, so that's not too bad for a tanky build. What I would suggest is as well, because we're using Clever Alchemist, you probably don't want to be using Tri-Stat potions as they're quite expensive. Just put on health potions, that's what I would personally do, because you don't really need the recoveries. Or you could put like Magicka potions on, because a lot of the skills are Magicka based, so if you are struggling with sustain a little bit, you shouldn't be, but if you are, then every skill is Magicka based, but the Healing Torch or Vigour. So you could just run like a magic potion. You can buy stacks of 200 for like such a small amount of gold. You don't really need the Tri-Stats, so don't worry too much, unless you could save the Tri-Stats for a higher arc phase. But yeah, to be honest, I was using just basic potions the whole way through, and I got up to about nearly arc 6. So just use normal potions, because you'll be using them all the time to proc the Clever Alchemist damage. Right, so what happens is that when you're going through the arc, you want to be getting the vision of Focused Efforts. Focused Efforts is going to buff the status effect damage basically. So this is going to become, so when you see it at the moment, it's not hitting super hard, it's just applying the status effects. It's not that strong, you're not getting massive numbers. So in the beginning stages, I'm more sort of using jabs and just sort of applying the elemental susceptibility as just sort of like a debuff basically. But with the focused efforts, you need to keep building on the focused efforts. And what this is going to do, it's going to make this start hitting really hard. It's going to make your elemental susceptibility really, really strong. So it's going to basically turn this into a spell, and it's a free cast as well. So even though the magic is low, like you'll basically stop using jabs as much. I'll probably just hit the jabs just once and then buff up, and then you're just heavy attacking and spamming elemental susceptibility. And the numbers as I've showcased on the video previously of the Golden Templar, they're going to hit super hard. The numbers start racking up the more you keep stacking the focused effort. So it is like a vision based build, because you won't be doing a lot of damage solo unless you get into the higher stages with the focused effort. So the visions are very important, and you need to keep stacking the single target ones and particularly the focused efforts. So we get into the champion points as the final section. Rashna, Liquid Efficiency and Steed's Blessing. The blue CP, I've put Master at Arms for just some direct damage attack, but Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff and Unassailable just for some damage reduction. I've got Bastion to make the shield even bigger, Pain's Refuge to reduce your damage taken, Fortified and Boundless Vitality. Now this is massive overkill. You don't really need Bastion, to be honest, unless you want to go super high arcs, but to be honest, if you do want a bit of recovery, just chuck on Sustain by Suffering, as like I said, the damage reduction and stuff, it is a little bit overkill, so if you want to invest in a bit more recovery, but yes, all in all it's a real fun, easy build to play, and like I said, I got to some really high arcs with this. I was admittedly playing duo, but solo you should be totally fine. It's just going to be a bit on the slow side from the beginning, but it will get you into good arcs, as you've got just tons of healing and defense, but like I said, it's particularly you've got to get the visions is what is the secret sauce of this build. But if you're running duo, you know, I said you've got tons of utility. You're going to slow down the enemies for your ally, you've got healing for your ally, you know, remembrance is a big save as well, and you can take some nasty hits and just keep going basically, and just keep them heavy attacks up in between every skill, just to keep that the destruction staff shield. So this is your fully charged heavy attacks, grant you a damage shield that absorbs 17,648 damage. This effect scales off your max health, so it's going to make you very, very tanky. Like I said, the CP is a bit overkill. If you want to change these to a bit more damage and just feel like you might need a bit more damage or recovery, then just change the CP to suit your needs. That's why I picked a damage race, because you could go null to make it even tankier, but like I said, it's probably not needed. So yeah, that's the build fully explained, guys. Only thing I would say is that it's all yellow, or gold should I say. You don't really need any of it gold. You could keep all of this purple and you're going to be totally fine. The only thing I'd recommend is just the ice staff, because the crossing is particularly cheap, I think, across all platforms anyway. So just make the ice staff gold and the rest can all be purple. It really doesn't matter. So it's all fully crafted apart from just the monster and the mythic, and then you're good to go. A nice, simple, effective and powerful build to get you through the archive into high arcs. Admittedly, I haven't gone super high, I haven't gone beyond about 5 or 6 arc, so it's yet to be tested beyond then, but I'm pretty confident that with the building of the visions you'll be able to go into really high arcs with this. Yeah, and like I said, what you could do if you are running duo, you might not need remembrance, as it is a little bit overkill. You can just slot Dawnbreaker. That's what I'd probably slot, or Meteor, just to do a bit more damage in the early stages, and then I would then switch to remembrance just for healing for the major protection. So that's the end of the build video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Nice easy build, easy to craft. Drop this video a like, guys. Any comments, drop in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.